Let's get into our Webtoon of the week, Soul Leveling 20 through 24. Found that the numbering is a little different between the physical print and the online digital.
Okay.
Also, there's some translations I found out that are a little different too.
Interesting.
So yeah, hopefully not too. I'm guessing if you have any weird dialogue, it's probably corrected in the print version.
Got it.
My guess. So,
Yeah, there have been
um,
some words out of order, like misspellings or like an odd choice here or there that I was like,
yeah.
oh,
And there's
but
none of that in the print version. And I
sure.
noticed because you sent me the screenshot last page, and what he
Mm.
says there and what it said in the print is not the same.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. You should show me either on
yeah,
or offline what the print says. I'd be
yeah.
curious.
So what do you think of these 20 through
I like
24?
these. These were these were the equivalent of, getting into the dungeon um in the first kind of, you know, 1 through 10 panels that we had, and we were kind of getting into like, oh my god, we're getting in a sense of present danger, the story's moving ahead, we have to figure some things out, where are we, like what's the threat. So yeah, so I quite enjoy this. I enjoy this more, the group interaction that we're having here more than I kind of enjoy the so-called training montage that we've just been
Sure.
through. So this to me is like the good stuff of the story. Is like relating to other characters and these kind of external obstacles. This is the strength right here. Because I'm not always quite convinced when Jinwoo is like like pep talking himself or like having his like
Mm,
training moments where he's like, I can do this or I can't do this or like I have to figure it out. The dialogue there just doesn't always grab me. So I
okay.
much prefer him like dealing with an external problem.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoy these a lot. They were definitely we didn't have to wait too long for people to get what was coming to them. And you were
Hmm.
totally right to be suspicious and nailed
Shady
that.
guy. I have a note in here. Shady guy, shady contract. Like everything about this leader was just like, ah,
Yep. Yep. And then they started, especially when they started early in this one, like the glints they put in people's eyes and the way they'd shade them, like make the
shadow
smile
people.
disappear. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that kind of thing. Um, yeah, the lizards metaphor, that's right. Why did I think of lizards right now? That's good. Um, I it's that thing that Sword Art Online does well also. It just creates these really satisfying moments and scenarios. It does that like shonen power fantasy thing well in yeah, and you get like revenge here and stuff. Um I'm liking it a lot because easily this could be messed up with making our protagonist too powerful too fast. I'm just not
Yeah.
feeling that because I feel satisfying.
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive and kind of on the line about him beating this like sea level boss. At first, it felt like it was satisfyingly paced, and then suddenly it felt like he was able to do it. But they explained the factors behind him beating the boss enough in subsequent panels that I was like, okay, all right, I buy this now. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't
Yep.
ready for him to like solo take on a sea level boss, and then everything that happened, I was like, okay.
I liked his saving grace there. He didn't use his reward from earlier. That was great. Um, so yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that was kinda
And
one of the things where I was like, "Okay, alright," because I was worried that they were gonna do some sort of, like, Deus Ex Machina, like, somebody just, like something happens, just comes
yeah,
in and saves the day, but this, like, worked out in a very believable way.
because it wasn't cheap. It was there for us
Mhm.
to see. Like
Right,
we didn't get a reward from his thing. So that's
right,
perfect. It was there. We
right.
didn't think of it. So Um, and I love I mean, it's the underdog story kind of thing. I love the someone is underestimated and
Mhm.
totally exceeds and blows everyone away. So I like that a lot. Um, I see you remarked the anti-American sentiment. I wonder how
Yeah.
that's phrased in there. I wonder if there's a different phrasing or not because to me it just like from the loose stuff that I'm aware of or whatever, to me it wouldn't come off as anti-American sentiment just as so much as like a national pride thing. Like you would leave us, like why wouldn't you work for us? Why aren't you helping us in the betterment of our
Yeah.
nation
Yeah, I would
to just take
wonder
off?
I wonder if there's like a wording choice that's different between like the physical and online versions because there was that sense of why would you leave us, but it was like how could you leave us to go to America? Do you know
Okay,
what I mean? And the emphasis was kind of there, like he's there. It was like very like ugh, America.
sure. I should
So
have brought the print copy in here with me to
yeah,
read
yeah,
exactly.
I'd love to again take a look at it probably offline. But just to see because it wasn't, like, harsh, it wasn't, like, dragged on for,
Yeah.
like, 20 panels or whatever, but it was just enough that I was like, "Interesting." Like, this is, just we're getting, like, a little jab in there.
Hmm. Yep.
So
And what do they say exactly about that? I mean, is there a lot of thought behind that, or is it
yeah,
and
it's
what
just
is
like an
that thought?
easy
Because we have our person that's not a good person saying this as
right.
well. So
Right, right, yeah, so
um,
it's like, is this just, like, a throwaway, like, you know, we're doing a jab at America, or are we like, not really because, yeah, like you said, it's the evil person who's saying this.
yeah. Um, what's this? Stop watching, get in the game, kid. You want the shielded like
Yes!
glammed up guy to get in
He
there?
he literally just watches and he's, like, thinking this whole, like, thought story in his brain about, like, "Oh, he's a
Yeah,
false ranker. That must be this happening and this
yeah.
happening." And it's like, "'Kay, kid, like, that's nice, but backstory later. Get out now." Like, this guy
Mhm,
literally was like, "I will go deal with Big Spider Boss if you can just find us a way out of here." And he does
mhm,
nothing except try to figure out what's happening. Like, there is time for that later. Go be practical and figure out a way out of here.
mhm.
So,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
I get
clearly
the, like,
just
panic
stunned.
and whatever, and he's
Yeah,
green and new and whatever, but, like, yeah, I was just, like, sitting there like, "You are thinking way too hard about this. Can you not sense the present danger? Get
yep.
out."
I would have, started working on the mining right away then. That would be the best option because you knew the other people were gonna come back, you know?
Well, we did,
So
but,
start
like, they
well, they
did.
knew they'd come back to, like they figured they'd come back when they're dead and
Yeah,
then
but
kill
that
the
I mean, that
boss.
also assumes that, like, this guy who you know but don't really is gonna be able to defeat the spider boss.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean,
But I'm
because
just
he
saying,
has a
like, the
whole
rubble.
process of, like, like, "Oh my god, how can he be doing this? Is he not really an e" and, like, he just, like, goes on and on and on and on, and I was just like, like, do the thing he asked you to do.
Mhm,
He's, like, over here
mhm.
sacrificing himself, and you're and commenting about, "Oh, he must be so fatigued. He's trying so hard." Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Get out.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I at least appreciate that most of there was the appropriate use of thought bubbles. I really do
mhm.
dislike in manga when people unnecessarily say things that they would just be thinking or going through in their
Right,
head. Don't say
right,
it aloud loud. And then they make it into an anime and then they say it out loud in the anime too. It's like how often these people talk to themselves right now.
right,
Like
right,
I get it if you've been alone for a long time, then
right.
people talk to themselves. That's what happens.
Well,
But
and using that once or twice is funny where somebody, like, accidentally says something out loud
yeah,
that they definitely meant to think. That's funny, but, like, doing it all the time is like, "Oh my god, nobody has, like, a running diatribe like that."
yeah. Yep. Yep. But overall, I liked it a lot. I thought the recap panel seemed unnecessary and like they just put them in there
Agreed.
to fill space or something. That's how I read that. But
Yeah, it could have been cool because it was like this it was getting like very philosophical. That that this chapter right after he's handed his emergency quest where he has to kill everybody and it
yeah,
was very like, "Oh my gosh, now the game is ordering me to kill people." Like kill or be killed. If I kill them, I get the rewards. If I don't kill them, I'll have a punishment. So it's really kill or be killed, or be punished. So, I can say the game is doing this to me, but am I really still choosing this? And then he started kind of reflecting on, every time I get in a group setting, I keep being betrayed. And it could have been like a cool, you know, snap back to like these moments of like betrayal and weakness and feeling um like a group setting is maybe not his place, and that's we could move the story forward that way. But you're right, it just like really went on and on and on and on, and it felt like a
Mhm,
filler instead of something
mhm.
cool.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Maybe this is the turning point where he's thinking, okay, we're gonna take further the name literally and solo level.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
we're doing this myself. All right, that has been.
um
Oh, yep.
no, sorry, I was just gonna say one other thing. Do you feel like his glowing blue eyes are anything, or is this just a like I'm leveling up thing?
I think it's activating an ability. I think it's
Okay,
when
all
it's
right.
like a dagger ability going, and he's like, that's what I think it is. Yeah,
Sure. Okay.
perception
I-
check, basically. Yeah.
yeah, I was just curious about that because it did seem to like be present in certain panels, but I just was like, I don't know, is it like a power up or is it, yeah,
Hmm.
like you said, like a ability activated? Okay.